Hello, beautiful humans. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about discomfort and whether or not that discomfort that you're feeling is oriented towards growth or giving you an internal signal that the situation, person, circumstance that you are in front of is actually in a form of dissonance and out of coherency. Uh, this week, the School of Erotic Mysteries had a call, and we were anchoring into boundaries, inner guardian, discernment, all the fun things. And what is very alive for me is noticing how, in these new age spiritual containers, there is often the reminder that growth is not comfortable. And but there is no preparation work for humans to figure out when that discomfort is actually their body telling them that they're in the midst of some bullshit. They're in the midst of some bullshit. So I wanted to come on and give a couple of examples of the difference. What happens when discomfort is growth oriented versus when it is coming from a place of your internal guardian telling you there's some bullshit happening here. Okay, so the first one that I came up with is in moments of vulnerability, the question to ask is, has this been earned? Has my vulnerability been earned? And what has the preparation been for me to be vulnerable here? Growth orient, like we all know vulnerability is going to feel uncomfortable. Being really vulnerable in front of someone, speaking a truth, showing a tender place of us is not the most is not the most comfortable. It's not the sparkliest place to be, right? And if it is oriented in growth and anchored in love, then those moments of vulnerability will feel prepared for, will feel contained, and will feel closed at the end of these moments of vulnerability. Meaning, I have an earned trust of this person that they are not going to assault my character, judge me. They're going to do their best to not judge me, in these moments. They're going to hold my moment of vulnerability in gratitude that I trust them with this. They're going to meet me in ways that are going to make me feel safe, or maybe check in with me, asking me what I need to feel safe in this moment, right? The discomfort will be momentary, and then I'll feel safe again. Oh, thank you. I can rest into this now. Vulnerability that is almost extracted when you're in the face of cognitive dissonance will feel unearned. Um, and I want to give an example of this because I just went through it in the summer of 2022. I was in a um, spiritually focused sexual container, and the opening practice of 50 people who did not know anybody, the opening practice was to get up, introduce yourself standing in the middle of the circle, and tell the entire group something that you don't want them to know about you. AKA, tell me a deep, dark secret. If anyone has kind of gone down in their dating world, if they were ever on a first date with someone who said, tell me your deepest, darkest secret, a flag should go up. I don't know you. But in these spiritual containers, we're not throwing that flag up in the air because we are continuously told that discomfort is where the growth comes from. Why is this problematic? It's problematic because very often that overexposure is not met in witnessing containment and safety. There's often an overexposure in a place where no one is going to hold you now. In that circle, I was told, go back to your seat and sit down, and then the next person is going to overexpose. So no one's there to hold me. And in gratitude, I'm very grateful that I had my own tools to hold myself. But you can probably notice how if someone really goes for it without any preparation, without any understanding of how to hold themselves and self soothe and come back into a regulated nervous system, how that can be extremely traumatizing. The other piece is it will move the container into a level of codependency, right? So what ends up happening is after these really vulnerable shares from everybody, it's often the narrative where the facilitators or the teachers will say, "We are your family now. We love you through this." So you get love bombed after that. What does love bombing do? It creates codependency. So you're seeing hints of communal narcissism, and you're seeing signs of codependent power extraction. So, vulnerability. Ask yourself, what was the preparation and has this been earned? Great. Next one. How is new information handled? What is the shift? Meaning, something is uncomfortable. I express this discomfort to a person. When that discomfort is going to be growth oriented, there's going to be a shift in the container, in the dynamic. Something is going to shift with new information. New information, new perspectives should lead to new behaviors, new actions. That is a discomfort thread that is growth oriented. Discomfort that is oriented in dissonance will not change the perspective. New information, same, same. So let's give an example. Same container that I was in over the summer. We were preparing to be initiated into one of the sexual rites. And the way it was a partnered exercise. And the way that we were going to get partnered up was through the oracle. And I actually loved the concept of getting partnered up through oracular, kind of magical serendipitous pairing. And so they had created a little system where like everyone picks a thing and then boop, that's going to be your partner for this exercise. A midlife human, conditioned as male at birth, very bravely raised his hand and vulnerably shared with the whole group that he had been raped multiple times and sexually abused as a child by an older male. And so he really didn't want to do this exercise, this initiatory rites practice with someone who had a penis and who identified as male. And so you could feel his nervous system was so shaky. What happened in that container was that nothing shifted. We were going to go forward and he was going to get paired with who he was going to get paired with. And then it was up to him to decide if he got paired with a male-bodied person, if he was going to do it or not. New information, same, same. What would have been, I want to give an example of like, okay, Francesca, then what quote should they have done? Well, from a trauma-informed perspective, we want to name the bravery that it takes for someone to, one, share something so deep in themselves, and two, ask for what would make them feel safer. The disregarding of what would make him feel safe is re-traumatizing. So what it could have sounded like was acknowledging that bravery, really sitting with it, with him in that moment, expressing that we want to make you feel we want all parts of you to feel safe in this container. If we still proceeded with pairing through the oracular exercise, how can we make you feel safer? Like asking that question. Because what could have happened is we could have just said, if you get paired with a man through this oracular practice, we'll see if anyone in the container is willing to switch with you, which of course someone would have been willing to switch with him. Like, of course. And then he would have been able to flow into that exercise feeling really supported. But through the entire preparation of that exercise, I was able to feel he's spiraling. He's spiraling on what's going to happen. And that discomfort is not growth, right? That is not safe growth. That is, you're uncomfortable because there's cognitive dissonance here. This is not okay. Okay. So how is new information handled? Last one. Because there are so many other questions that I could think of, I wanted to get then to the really like the root of the root question. What are the fruits? AKA, what are the results of your discomfort? When we are growth oriented, in discomfort, but in safety, the fruits of that discomfort will feel clarifying, will feel unburdening. There will be a lightness after this moment of discomfort. And discomfort, I would also like to name, does not need to last for forever and forever to be growth oriented. These like moments of discomfort that then get released will lead to clarity and a sense of I am no longer burdened by something. There is a new lightness. Discomfort that results in confusion or heaviness is something to take pause around. Noticing if I am confused here. Confusion is one of my greatest allies because confusion is rooted in my body is probably telling me something, but my mind is rationalizing, or my mind is saying, I don't have empirical evidence to justify why this might not be right. It leads to confusion, and confusion is a moment to pause. On the other end of discomfort, you kind of like, quote, move through it, but you feel heavier on the other side. You feel like there's more burden for you to be holding now because of the growth that you just went through, through that discomfort. It's not how it works. The feeling is unburdening. As we grow, we let go of things. There isn't an accrued heaviness. So pay attention to the feelings on the other side of your discomfort. What are the fruits? What are the results? Do they clarify or do they confuse? I could probably go on and on about this, which I do in the School of Erotic Mysteries. We have an entire section dedicated to sovereignty, boundaries, communing with your inner guardian, learning the language of your inner guardian, um, and really understanding that even though you might not have all the words in the moment, that you are in full agency to notice if discomfort is trying to tell you something more than I'm in a growth moment. I hope this serves, and stay safe out there, kiddos. Bachi. Besos.